Ever wonder how a rock buried deep in the earth gets turned into that blindingly shiny bar of 99.99% pure wealth people hoard in safes like dragon treasure? No, it doesn't involve alchemy or wizards. Although, let's be honest, it's just as dramatic. In today's video, we're diving into the surprisingly gritty, high heat, and chemistry-filled journey of gold, from dirty ore to investment-grade bars. First things first, where does gold actually come from? If your first thought was the jewelry counter at Macy's, we've got some talking to do. Most of the world's gold is yanked straight from the earth in places like Australia, China, and the US, using some pretty extreme methods. Open pit mining? Think of it as gold digging on a planetary scale. Literally. Giant machines dig gaping holes so deep, you could drop a skyscraper in there and lose it. Then there's underground mining, which is less dramatic visually, but way more claustrophobic. Tunnels, headlamps, and heavy machinery. Indiana Jones would not approve. Oh, and don't forget placer mining, aka panning for gold, but with industrial strength gear. You scoop gravel from riverbeds, shake it, rinse it, and hope it glitters. It's like fishing, but for precious metals, and without the beer. But wait, the plot thickens. Not all gold comes from nature's basement. A solid chunk comes from recycling. Yep, your old phone, grandma's broken necklace, and weirdly enough, some old dental fillings. These are all part of what's called urban mining. Turns out your junk drawer may be sitting on more gold than Fort Knox. Okay, maybe not that much, but you get the idea. So now that we've dragged gold-laced rocks out of the ground, or salvaged them from your ex's leftover electronics, it's time to turn this mess into something worth flaunting on a rap album cover. Step 1. Crushing and grinding. This is where we literally beat rocks into submission. Massive machines, often with names like Jaw Crusher, yes, really, chew the ore down to sand-like powder. Why? Because the finer the material, the easier it is to squeeze out the gold, kind of like turning peanuts into peanut butter before you make Reese's. Once it's nice and dusty, the real magic begins. Extraction. The most popular method here is cyanidation. Yes, you heard right. Cyanide, as in poison. We bathe the ground-up ore in a weak cyanide solution that dissolves the gold. Sounds dangerous? It is. This isn't something you do in your backyard next to the grill. And because Mother Nature never makes things simple, we sometimes use alternatives like gravity separation, flotation, or carbon in pulp. Basically, it's a buffet of chemistry tricks to separate the gold from the junk. And for the folks who recycle electronics, they've got their own horror show, Aqua Regia. That's a mixture of nitric acid and hydrochloric acid, also known as the only thing that can dissolve gold. And your countertops if you're not careful. Long story short, it's like Extreme Makeover Geology Edition. We're turning rock powder and trash into golden treasure using science, steel, and just a splash of chemical danger. So now we've got gold, but it's not that fancy 4 nines kind yet. Nope, it's still rough, impure, and kind of gross. Think of it as the fast food version of gold. Edible, but not exactly fine dining. To take it from meh to money, we refine. The goal? 99.99% purity. That's 4 nines, baby. The financial world's version of perfection. And trust me, it's as hard to achieve as it sounds. The first stop on our spa day for gold is the Miller process. No, not the beer. This Miller involves bubbling chlorine gas through molten gold. Sounds like a bad chemistry experiment, right? But it's wildly effective. It separates out most of the junk metals like silver and copper. The result? Gold that's 99.5% pure. Not bad, but we can do better. Enter the Wohlwill process, the gold standard of, well, gold standards. It's basically an electrolytic cell that zaps impure gold and redeposits it onto a pure gold cathode. Science wins again. But wait, there's more. Before that, we melt the gold with some colorful friends. Borax, soda ash, niter, and sand. These aren't toppings for your next taco, they're flux agents. Their job? Trap impurities, maintain high heat, and help gold stay nice and gooey during pouring. Without them, the gold solidifies too fast and we're stuck chiseling it out like cavemen. Oh, and that glowing, molten river of gold you see being poured into molds? It's a whole dance. Too slow and it clumps, too fast and it overflows. There's no Ctrl+Z in gold pouring. The crew knows the routine like a Broadway act. Measured, precise, synchronized. One wrong move and your 6-figure gold bar is a floor pancake. After pouring, a tiny sample gets taken and sent to the lab. They melt it again, analyze it, and confirm, yep, this is the real deal. No pyrite, no fluff. Just pure elemental wealth. So now we've got our hot liquid gold poured into molds, cooled down, and verified for purity. Great. Except right now it looks less like a treasure chest find and more like a gold-colored brick with an identity crisis. Time to get polished, literally. First, the bars cool and harden in just seconds, like 30 max. Then they're popped out of the mold like oversized golden brownies and inspected. If the surface is a little meh, they'll shave off any rough edges. You can't have millionaire-level gold looking like it just rolled off the back of a pickup truck. But not all gold becomes bars. Some of it gets the royal treatment, coin minting. Think of it as gold's red carpet moment. The gold is pressed, stamped, and given a designer finish. Matte, proof, frosted, or polished to mirror perfection. If you've ever held a gold coin and thought, dang, this is fancy, that's because someone somewhere was literally hand polishing it with the delicacy of a jeweler and the stress level of a neurosurgeon. After the makeover, the coins are sealed in capsules or velvet-lined boxes like they're collectible Pokemon cards. Which, honestly, they kind of are, but for grown-ups with trust issues about the stock market. Fun fact, some coins aren't even meant for circulation. They're bullion coins, sold mostly to investors. You can't buy coffee with them, though you definitely make a barista's week. But you can stack them in a safe and sleep slightly better at night. So whether it's a kilo bar locked in a vault, or a proof coin on display, this is gold at its final gleaming form. Instagram ready and bank approved. Think all that gold is freshly dug up from beneath mountains by guys in hard hats? Nope. A significant chunk of it is coming straight from your junk drawer. Yep, that drawer in your kitchen, stuffed with broken phones, mystery chargers, and probably at least one AA battery from 2009. Welcome to urban mining, where the gold rush happens in basements, not riverbeds. Electronics, especially older ones, are mini gold mines. Those shiny connectors on your old motherboard? Gold. That random connector in your dead laptop? Gold. You could throw it out. Or you could melt it down and make a ring that says, yes, I recycle and I profit. Here's how it works. First, they collect and sort the electronic waste. Computers, phones, even medical equipment. Then comes the dismantling stage where the valuable parts are extracted. Think of it as reverse engineering with a treasure map. After that, they shred it all into tiny bits. Because gold doesn't like to be social. It hides. To coax it out, recyclers use chemical processes like aqua regia, a delightful cocktail of nitric and hydrochloric acid. This stuff can dissolve gold, and your eyebrows if you're not careful. There's also mechanical magic, gravity separation, centrifugation, even electrolysis. All of it designed to strip away the junk and leave behind the prize. Kind of like Tinder, but for precious metals. The result? Pure, high-quality gold, indistinguishable from what you'd get from a mine. It's tested, refined, and poured just like the rest. So yeah, that gold bar someone's flexing on Instagram might have once been part of a busted flip phone or grandma's molar. Let that sink in. Alright, so we've got our shiny, super pure gold bar. Now what, stick it in a vault? Sure. But believe it or not, gold doesn't just sit around looking pretty. It's actually one of the hardest working materials on the periodic table. Let's start with the obvious, electronics. Gold is the VIP of conductivity. It doesn't corrode, it's highly efficient, and it makes sure your device doesn't suddenly die mid-Zoom call. Every smartphone, computer, and overpriced electric toothbrush has a little gold doing the heavy lifting behind the scenes. And then there's aerospace. NASA uses gold to coat satellites and spacecraft because it reflects heat like a boss and doesn't oxidize in space. Yep, astronauts are basically orbiting with gold-plated hardware. Elon Musk probably sleeps on a gold mattress at this point. Who knows? But gold isn't just about gadgets and space toys, it's also in your mouth. Literally. Dentists use gold for crowns and fillings because it doesn't rust, it's biocompatible, and hey, who doesn't want to chew with bling? Oh, and get this. Gold nanoparticles are now a thing in medicine. Scientists use them for cancer imaging, drug delivery, and diagnostics. It's like the metals going through a high-tech renaissance. From jewelry to targeted chemotherapy. Talk about range. And let's not forget gold leaf. It's been used for centuries to gild statues, temples, and fancy desserts nobody actually enjoys eating. Fun fact, 1 ounce of gold can be hammered into a sheet thin enough to cover 9 square meters. That's enough to wrap your entire bathroom in gold. Which, let's be honest, some influencer probably already did. So yeah, gold isn't just sitting around being admired. It's out here saving lives, flying through space, and helping your phone not explode. Respect. Alright, so we've crushed it, melted it, cleaned it, and even found it hiding in grandma's dental work. But here's the big question. Why is gold still such a big deal in 2025? Simple. Trust. Gold doesn't glitch. It doesn't get hacked. And unlike your favorite crypto, it doesn't drop 30% just because a billionaire tweeted something weird at 2 a.m. It's what economists call a store of value. You buy it, you hold it, and it doesn't dissolve when the market has a meltdown. So next time you see a gold bar, remember, it's not just shiny for the gram. It's ancient, it's high-tech, and it's surprisingly down to earth after a couple thousand degrees of heat and a chemical spa day. If you learned something new, or now secretly want to melt down your old iPhone, go ahead and smash that like button. Subscribe for more deep dives into the world's hidden industries. And drop a comment below. Gold bars or Bitcoin? What's your play?